UPX Podcast, baby. Glad you tuned in. Got your host, Thank Me Later, and you're stupid to win. Might be coming up session as soon as you begin. Start out king of the street, then lock in iconic in. Welcome to Upland. Grab your UPX, man. On your way in the door, hit you with $4,000. Get to buying and gripping, then to selling and flipping. Over to moving and shucking. I'm Scrooge McDuckin in UPX.
Oh, that helps. What's going on, fellow Uplanders? Welcome to the Upland Property Experts Podcast. I am your host, Too Stupid to Win, and as always, I'm joined by ThankMeLater. How we doing, ThankMeLater?
I'm doing good. Doing good.
I had the mute button pressed, so the people that do listen to the podcast and not watch us on YouTube, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We do appreciate everybody that does listen to the podcast because that's where we got our start from. I make sure I hit the mute button so anything I say or do before the YouTube stream starts live is not on the heard that, but it's your first drink of yeah. So
I had to look at that. See,
matches your I like that. Yeah, so I forgot to unmute myself so the podcast listeners don't hear anything I say or do before we go live on YouTube. We do have a pretty jam-packed show tonight. We have TjMiamiBoi here from the Evergreen Lasher Gardens community project. Got a lot of cool stuff going on there. Excited to talk to him. Hip hop and cannabis culture going on in the Detroit city. Definitely excited to talk about that. We have the market update as always. There are changes to the Upland economy, and we'll break that down for you. Also, changes breaking today in the FSA rules, and then you have a neighborhood opening up in Rio just for FSA. So definitely a lot to talk about tonight. What are you most excited to discuss tonight there? Thank me later.
My sweet swag, obviously.
that is some sweet swag. And, you know, definitely love that jacket.
Yes. So today's outfit. Wait, where's our little banner? Did you take down our banner? Make a banner real quick for the Upland UPX 15. Boom. Yeah, rocking the Rio. Today's ensemble. My neon green bomber jacket from Upland and my bright pink Upland. It's the Mamba Dancer. I had all the swag. We did an unboxing the other day on the UPX World Twitch where I unboxed. Oh, and here's some drinking from my Rio mug.
Yeah.
Don't tell Upland that I don't own a single Rio property, but I own all of the Rio swag.
I don't know if your microphone's too far away or too close, but you're getting a little feedback from time to time, just to let you know.
Feedback? No, that's you.
Yeah. No.
Perfect.
No, not at all. I don't own a single real property yet either because the secondary market price is still kind of high and there's still so much more of Rio to be released. So I don't want to overbuy right now. I will definitely own Rio, but I'm not going to buy anything right now while everything's elevated.
Yeah, I mean, that's to be expected with how quick it sold out. It's the first international city. I mean, we can already see with the announcement of another FSA mini launch that they're going to start relieving that valve, right? We've talked about that they don't want Rio to be hitting like Manhattan, but at this rate, it is for sure. So,
yeah, absolutely. It's not me, it's you. Thanks, Mix. Right. But yeah. Oh, hold on.
What happened? Did you lose a kid? What happened there?
No, a kid came in and interrupted the broadcast because he wants to come play computer games and he needs the charger for the laptop. That's always fun about doing a live show on summer break. I've had a pretty good run though. Having summer break and not have a kid interrupt the podcast till now. So
that's true. What
you thought about it?
Yes, yeah. So that's exactly it. I want it to be. Sorry, I know I just made our 0. Actually, no, we have at least 1 or 2 female followers. Swoon.
You taking dance lessons?
I mean, I might fly down to Rio, take them myself.
Righty. But with as we get on that,
the people on the podcast have missed. If you're only listening to the podcast, you have missed some amazing dance moves, and just imagine the most swagger you've ever seen in a human being dressed in neon pink and green. So there you go.
Ooh, don't forget your male followers.
Goldsmith.
They like it too.
Gold. Fair enough. Yeah.
Now, without further ado, though, I'm going to get TjMiamiBoi on. We're going to talk about the awesome project they got going on in Evergreen Lasher Gardens. So it's pretty awesome. Welcome to the show, TJ. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Oh, wow. Really appreciate you for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so this was something in the works since Vegas. We got to meet each other in Vegas, talked for a little bit, and I was like, definitely want to get you on the show. Like, I had no clue what you guys were doing up there, and I didn't even know that there was a hip hop community that was thriving in Upland until I talked to you and the people you were hanging out with that night. So, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, well, again, greetings. I am TjMiamiBoi. I'm from Miami, born and raised, but started Upland probably in like December, and I've been hooked ever since. So met up with some people. How'd you
find
Upland? I was searching for metaverses, so I went on a metaverse hunt, and I had to figure out which metaverse was, not only right for my pockets, but something that was simple for me to understand, and something that I wanted to grow with. I didn't want something that was already built out. I didn't want something that was too far of the beginning stages, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. That balance.
But balance.
That sweet spot where it's proven out enough that you're like, okay, I feel good. You guys are sticking around, but not so established that's impossible to get into.
Correct.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's been Upland's sweet spot for a little bit now.
Yeah, and that's what it was. And I got in right before the Bronx release.
Yeah, that was right around that time.
Yeah. So I hit really big on my Bronx FSA properties. So that's what propelled my account. And I've just stopped. I haven't stopped ever since. So I started with $10 and I've been trucking along ever since. I probably only spent, no less than total with buying block explorers as well. I probably spent only like $75 on Upland.
Wow. I spent more than that today.
What did you do in Bronx that made it so successful for you, being an FSA and just starting out the game? How did you make that such a successful venture for yourself?
Because I learned from, just studying the game. I really studied and dove into the game, watching some of your guys' videos, watching other videos to where I studied the game. So I was a big Monopoly head when I was a kid. So the correlation to this and Monopoly was, just amazing. So I really dove into it, studied the game, and I learned about the hold that collections had on the game at the time. So luckily, I went straight for what I thought in my mind would be really good collections, which would be right by Yankee Stadium. and I got a couple properties right in Concourse and sold them for big.
Nice.
Smart.
Nice. Very
smart
smart.
strategy.
Oh, yeah. Before we jump any further, I do have to apologize. We talked about this pre-show, and last week I was talking about TJ was coming on the show, talking about Evergreen Lasher Gardens, and we don't know where he was, what's going on. And there are a lot of, because he got high jokes and all that stuff, but it was on me. My communications with TJ was less than what I usually do when working with a guest. And I told him July 29th. Instead of July 28th. So TJ, I apologize. And I mean, you guys are listening to a guy that calls himself too stupid to win. So my mistakes are more than me being right. So, but yeah, that was my fault. TJ was not here last week. He was ready to go on Friday, but we have no show on Friday. So that's what happened. And all those, because I got high jokes, were wasted.
Oh man, that's awesome though. That's awesome. I did take a peek at that show, and it was funny. I'll laugh at it.
He's like, told me the wrong day. Damn you. That's what he was really thinking. But
and usually what I do is I'm like, hey, all right, awesome. I have these dates available. Sounds good. I have you booked for Thursday this month, this date at this time. And then with him, I don't know if I was busy or what. And I just wanted to get back to him. And I was just like, hey, how's this date? He said, cool. I'm like, all right, I got you down for it. And that was that. And then even my follow-ups of the week, I never even threw. Looking forward to having you on Thursday. It was all me.
Yeah, it happens. Happens to the best of us.
Right, but we're here. We're here now.
Right?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. I just like owning my mistakes. So I just wanted to put it out publicly. So yeah. So you started in December. You had a good Bronx release. What was your next moves after that?
Next moves after that was I went to Kansas. So after I made the money in Bronx, I went to Kansas, waiting till the next release, and I flipped the heck out of Shoal Creek. So that was like the last collection area that was still open, that you can mint in Kansas or Nashville, for that matter. And I just went to Kansas and I just kept flipping it. So I was just minting and selling Shoal Creek. So until it was nothing left for me to mint, and that's what helped build my account until the next release. And every release, I land in a pretty good area to where I flip the properties out. So I do pretty good for myself, and I'm not trying to, hurt the economy or like kill the economy to where it's like, oh, I'm trying to get 1 million UPX for this property. Like I leave a little meat on the bone for the next guy if you're gonna buy properties for me.
Oh, that's smart. Do you hold any, or is it just I'm in, I'm flipping, and I'm out?
Depends on the location, the area. If I've already talked to some people, if some people may have a plan to where we're going to be holding in this location. But for the most part, like if anybody partners with me or talks with me about a location, I will tell you, up front that I will flip first. Let me get my flips in first, so that way I can have money to get into the location that we want to get into.
Now that's a smart strategy. I like it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so how did you guys, when did the whole developing hip hop and cannabis community start? Was it before Detroit or after Detroit? How'd you get there?
It was before Detroit. It was just, being in the Upland Discord, talking to some people, and we were like, hey, we want a hip hop community, we want to be able to talk hip hop, maybe, talk a little bit about the green as well. So kind of goes hand in hand. And it just kind of ran from there. One idea led to another. It started in a group chat, really, before we even got a server. And then that group chat turned into a server, and now we're up to like 170 people.
Nice. And then how'd you guys end up picking the community that you have there in Detroit?
Evergreen was kind of like a play on words, as well as the the structure of the neighborhood. So it's a pretty square structure, pretty even. So that neighborhood does have a lot of properties, but it was still a lot of FSA properties. So it gave us the ability to where when we're bringing in new people, it gives them some room to be able to get something, as well as have, some of the bigger properties, some nice properties for, some older players if you want to have a bigger property. And most of the properties in that location, because, depending on the neighborhoods, depends on your returns, or how your returns may look, depending on what you're paying for it, right? So in that area, you're getting a pretty good return, coming out of Detroit. So we were like, why not? Let's see how we do. Just go ahead and build it. It's Detroit. It's hip hop. You can do it in any neighborhood, right? But we learned that it takes a community. It really takes a community with these projects to make it grow. So we said, let's pick this neighborhood. And shout out to, my guy LB. Shout out to Coach, my girl Zoe. We got Zoe out in Australia. And, Fax Spitter out in LA. We just worked together, and it was just a whole team effort. And the more people that come on, the more people get involved, and we just have a good time with each other. That's all it is. We try to have a good time with each other and build up each other. So if we build up each other, it's only going to get better.
That's super cool.
That's awesome. So what are you guys working on? Any kind of projects right now? What are you guys working on?
Well, right now, one of our main projects is our NFT seed head projects, which, as you can see, is my avatar on here. So that is an actual NFT project that we have. So some of our members have the NFT project. So it is called Seed Heads. That's one of the projects that we have. Another project is bringing in new artists and having concerts and trying to work to be able to have AR and VR concerts in the metaverse as well. That's something that I'm working with Eddie over in the Buck Club as well. So
the what club?
The Buck Club.
That's what I thought you said.
BUC.
Yeah, BUC. You already know it, man. So
BUC, I know.
I'm working over with him as far as trying to, make sure we get some good content set up and, have some real live concerts,
Yeah. Oh, that's it. So where with the NFT project, do you have a website for that we can let everybody check out?
Well, right now it's not even live. So
Okay.
It's really only to the members that's in our community. So if they're in our Discord, so if they're in the Vatican House, because it's a Vatican House Discord, which is the hip hop Discord channel, then they can have access to be able to get the information for those NFTs. So that's another reason why it makes people, or what gives people an incentive to come into our community. A lot of people have seen our NFTs and it has intrigued them about it. So we're just working our way through it and getting more information out there. But we just want to take our time to try to make sure that it's right. We're not trying to rush it. So right now it's only available to our community.
I like that approach. It's not about getting it out there. It's not about making the money. It's about using it to help build a community. And that's what it should really be about. It's just not about how quick can I make this, throw it out, flip it, pull the rug and get out of it.
Right. And that's what I've seen. We've seen that. And a big shout out to my guy, Coach Funk, who been the brainstorm behind, a lot of the artwork and, just the forefront of the project. But as a team, I couldn't ask for a better team with what we're working with right now.
It's awesome.
Yeah. You got any, so what are you most excited about coming up here, TJ? In Upland itself?
I'm I'm probably gonna say I'm excited about the manufacturing. I have to be. I would say I'm excited about that. With the manufacturing, I do have an announcement.
Ooh.
This is the first announcement that I've told. Even my whole team doesn't know. So to my team who are listening right now, um, I am gonna be manufacturing Block Explorer keychains. So that's gonna be coming. Breaking news. You know. Um, so it is going to be a business in our what we have like a little business district in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be having personalized Block Explorer keychains to where people come over to the neighborhood, they put in an order, and for that order I will verify if you own that Block Explorer for me to even make that keychain for you.
So
So
it's for
it will
your
be
director personal block explorers?
it can be for
Or
your personal Block Explorer, whichever Block Explorer you may want, but it has to be in your
okay.
asset. It has to be a Block Explorer within your asset. And then I will take a JPEG or a PNG file of that picture, and I will print it out, make a keychain for you, and then send it to you. Someone asks, which Evergreen neighborhood is it? Yeah, Lasher 7/8. Yeah, so it is Evergreen Lasher 7/8. It just seems like the 7/8 was too much to put on there. Or if you buy marijuana or cannabis, then the 7/8 is kind of an odd number to run with. So that's why we didn't put that in the
Yeah, let me get that 7/8 bag.
right. No. But
Yeah.
it was just something to where, a lot of people for medical purposes. And shout out to our girl in Australia, Zoe. She is a big cannabis connoisseur, and she gives us a lot of medical information that is much needed that people may not even be aware of. Just based off of the medical uses to heal and to be able to use it for other than just what most people use it for.
Oh yeah, there's a huge medicinal aspect to it, and even with these higher concentrates nowadays for recreational purposes, they're kind of causing it. So there's a fine balance of just using it overall in general. And it creates a hot debate with a lot of people about it too.
Yes. Yes. But I can that's what we have our group for. People come in there, people debate, or people just talk or just show the love for it.
Now, are you guys releasing any of your hip hop music anywhere? Where do you got a radio station going on in your Discord channel? Tell us a little more about the hip hop you guys are doing, or is it just talking about
Now,
who's the best rapper? Or...
no, it's not just talking about who's the best rapper.
What's
We
your top
do.
5? Hold on. I gotta stop. TJ, who's your top 5?
I knew it was coming.
Come on.
I'm never ready for that.
I know, right?
I'm never ready for that because number one, my all-time number one will have to be Notorious B.I.G.
All right.
That's gonna be my all-time number one.
I mean, that's a
following,
pretty easy answer. I mean, it takes
but it's always a tight race. For me, it's always a tight race between him and Pac. But for me, they're both number one they're both in different lanes. I never put them in the same lane. They're both two different artists with two different styles. And then following after that, I'm gonna have to go with probably, I'm from Miami, so I may have to put Trick Daddy or Ross in that number 2 slot.
I like Ross.
So Ross is more like that flavor there. Then number 3 coming in is gonna have to be Jay. As much as Jay-Z took a lot of controversy during the 90s and stuff like that, it was just it was just there. Yes, Nas is probably following in at my number 4. It was right there, right on the tip of my tongue. I usually can't pick between him and Jay, depending on the type of day I'm having. And then it's hard for my number 5, but Nipsey Hussle is gonna have to probably be into my number 5. Like, it's hard for me not to even put him on the list at this point. As much as I listen to him. Yeah, and then right now coming in, I have to put in an honorable mention. A lot of people may not even know of this artist, but it's a real rap type of artist, and he's independent. His name is Toby Naigwe. So if you haven't heard of him, you may have to look him up. He does a lot of good music, and I went to a concert of his last December, and it was amazing.
All right, definitely have to check him out. I haven't heard him.
No, only white people put Eminem on their top 5, which is why he is on my top 5 for the record.
Eminem, I see. It's hard to just put him. I could put him up there. I could. It's always a battle, because then he'll fall right in between with that Jay-Z and Nas placement. So that's why it's always hard for me to do a top 5, because I get real specific with it. So then I'll even break it down into lanes. So I'm like, all right, well, in this lane you got, Pac, M.
You're just trying not to leave anybody out.
It's not like I don't want to leave nobody out, but it's just I'm a very diverse person. So when it comes to music, I like to be more well-rounded.
Fair.
So some music, it just hits me differently, especially depending on the day you have it.
Yeah. I think my only like wild cards in my top 5 would be Tyler the Creator. I don't know why, I just like his stuff a lot. And Childish Gambino. Shout out.
Oh, I can do a Childish Gambino a lot. Like, Childish Gambino does have some music that would really put you in a mood.
Right.
Yeah, I got Andre 3K in my top 5.
Get out of here, Andre 3K.
What? Oh,
that's
bro,
not bad.
Come on.
That's not bad. Come on.
Andre
3K is definitely in my top 10.
Bro, Andre 3K, he upset. Like, other artists are happy that he gets on his track, but yet at the same time, they're pissed off because all of a sudden they're like, damn, now I got to go harder. He just put him down on his own track, but they know it made the track. He's just, Andre in his prime, top 5 in my book.
Yeah, definitely.
What about some Lil Wayne? Dude, he is a lyricist though.
See, dude, the Lil Wayne, when I would from Carter 1 to Carter 3, yes. Now, Lil Wayne is still probably one of the greatest rappers right now. I can hands down say that. But not right now. Not as of his music right now. But Carter 1 through Carter 3, that generation, nobody can touch him. It was really hard to even battle Lil Wayne during that time.
Yeah. No, he was operating on another level. It was crazy.
Yeah, he was doing features for free.
Yeah. All right, we got sidetracked with that, but the music you guys are doing, do you guys got a channel going on where you're playing the music? Is there places that people can listen to it and all that?
Yes, so we do have kind of like a radio channel or a live music. You could come in, or like a jukebox. So you come in, you can kind of request your own music. As far as new music, the new music is kind of hard to request because it's not really on YouTube or nothing to search. So if you have a video, even new artists, artists that may have a video and have music that want to share with us, you can just come to our all hip hop channel and just drop the video in there. Share the music with us. We want it. We want that new music. Yes, and Master P is one of my favorite entrepreneurs.
Yes. Might not be the best rapper, but an awesome entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
Kendrick and Chance are good
Chance.
too.
Chance is starting to fall off. I don't know, but yeah, no. But definitely, TJ, is there anything you want to say before we let you go for this evening?
The main thing that I have to say to all the Uplanders out there listening is you have to just take your time. Make sure you read, because I do see that that's a lot that's going on. Some people don't read. So even myself, I have to go back and read some of these announcements and make sure you pay attention to what they're putting in the text, because we all play a part. We have to make sure that we all, stick together and just help each other out. You can't get this far by yourself.
No, that's great advice. That is absolutely great advice. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. You're definitely welcome to hang out backstage. We do an after show where everybody talks after that. So if you got nothing going on, definitely hang out backstage. But TJ, definitely.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for coming on tonight. Thank you for telling us about what's going on. Now, everybody that wants to be a part of a cannabis hip hop culture, the node to go in Detroit. So definitely, everyone.
Party in Evergreen.
There you go. Hey, TJ, thank you so much. And we'll talk soon, my friend.
All right. Thank you.
All right. On to the market update this week. Oh, nice. It looks like my PayPal account's getting hacked. Great. That's why it's good to have that. Right now, legit, I just got my 2FA coming through. And
isn't that the worst?
Yeah. I'm like, that was not me. So,
well, wait, but does your wife or any of your kids have access to your PayPal?
No. It's mine.
Oh my goodness.
So the top 10 city floors in Upland.
Dang, look at this.
This week.
Some green.
Yeah, we got some green.
A little. Wow, interesting that Rio went down.
They had the thrifty trader going on in Rio.
Oh,
so
and then they
people
also,
were.
It was post vanilla, eh? Yeah.
Yeah. So you did have the collections release, and you also had the thrifty trader going on. So usually you see, a correction in there, and as we said earlier, you're going to see the price come down because there's more properties to be released in Rio. That's not the end all be all.
Yeah, but I mean, it is like the original. I mean, it's the first set, right? But yeah.
Yes, it is the first set. There's still more to go.
Kansas City getting a nice little bump there. Yeah. I mean, I'm happy with these numbers. I mean, it looks like the UPX is slowly going up, kind of across the board a little bit. And honestly, USD more or less looks like it's going up or staying stable. So I mean, like, that all looks really kind of promising. Manhattan stabilizing at that 99,000, right? I think that makes sense. I would like to see San Francisco at the 50, but
yeah, that's so disappointing with San Francisco being the Genesis city, and it's just always crazy that it's not higher than what it is.
DJ Shorts liquidating San Fran. That also might be part of that story as well. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. I think, we'll continue to talk about it until it's here. Layer 2, I think it's going to have some impact on that as well.
I think so also. And the US dollar floor, that's pretty stable. So it's solid. I like that.
Nice. What? Oh, you're dealing with.
Sorry, I'm changing my password. Sorry. All right, so the 30-day change, like straight up.
Give me a thing to talk about. Okay.
All right, so we're on the 30. You know, you can move the.
I have power, eh? Okay.
You do have power.
So, all right. So, Too Stupid's going to deal with the fact that he is getting hacked live, and somebody's going to try and steal the 350 in his PayPal account. About 350.
Yeah, I wish it was only 350.
When we look at the 30-day, we do still see some of that market adjustment. We see some red in the long term, but hey, I'm happy to see San Francisco, overall is climbing. That's kind of what I would expect with where the market is and should be. So that's good. Everything else is a little down, but that's just kind of to be expected. We got breaking news, or are you just teasing?
That wasn't me. That was Dizzy.
Dizzy, stop it.
Yeah.
Troll.
So the 12-week change, the U.S. dollar still looking pretty ugly.
Is this new? Why are you doing this? Why are you making us feel bad?
Who, me?
Yeah, you put this together, didn't you?
Yeah.
Why are you trying to make us feel bad? I'm going to go back to the green numbers.
Zooming out.
Oh my goodness.
Zooming out, just so you have the perspective.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, again, though, if you go 12 weeks, like if we look at the crypto space and again the overall economy 12 weeks ago, it would be a lot different. $16 San Fran. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's rough.
Yep. But
I'd get it while you can. If you're buying fiat, I'd take a look at that.
Yeah, I'm still I think this is a great buying opportunity in some of the original cities in Upland. Definitely need somebody to hit the not financial advice banner there for us.
What? Okay, so here's our markups, because this is what I kind of wanted to see. So like, do last week. Okay, so we're at 200%. So I mean, San Francisco is still. I mean, that's a pretty good clip. I mean, it's actually, wait, where's Manhattan? Oh, Manhattan's at 237. So, I mean, when you look at that, I mean, Manhattan and San Francisco are getting closer together. I like the 200 to 250 range. I think I like that in general. 2 to 2.5x. It feels like a fair floor. Rutherford's nonsense.
Absolutely. Fresno's nonsense.
No. Fresno's not nonsense because people are buying mass properties for factories.
True.
And for because that was one of the super cheap ones, and it's on the West Coast, and it will be part of the Decor beta. So that does not necessarily surprise me.
But you still have huge properties in Kansas City, way cheaper than what you can buy secondary in Fresno.
Yeah, but I mean, again, I would not buy. I mean, but I have a ton of Upsquare in Fresno already, so.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is San Francisco's price went up, but their UPX markup went down, which is always nice. That's where you really like to see, where the deals are at. To me, that's a deal.
Yeah.
Even though your floor went up UPX wise, but the markup percentage came down, jump all over that. And I'll work on something there too, so we can look at it comparatively of who went up with the UPX markup dropping. So I'll look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one goes to KC. I get it, but it's a great distribution hub. I'm looking future in the game and being able to distribute.
Well, I mean, there's some solid KC nodes as well.
Yes.
Like there's definitely some good communities and teams that are operating out of KC. I think it has a good value proposition. I mean, 60%. I mean, that's a really good deal. It's interesting. I haven't seen a ton of Vegas collaborations. I think I've seen a couple. It's just really interesting to see where people are levitating towards. It felt like Vegas was a little bit more sporadic and free for all than some of the other ones.
And is Vegas going to represent the same thing as just a bunch of people go there to have fun, and like the organization and the community is not like really there unless you're some sort of worker or manufacturer there or something?
Maybe. I mean, we'll have to see how they release the strip. The strip is going to be kind of probably a big factor in that.
Yeah. But yeah, this is still in the same values across it. Los Angeles, Queens, Santa Clara, Chicago, Nashville, with these huge discounts, Vegas, Detroit. So if you do have the available US dollars, I'm always pushing for getting that value there. Bottom 5 city floors in Upland, still pretty solid. That's what you like to see, is stable or seeing the green. So a lot of green, so can't complain.
Yeah, no, it's solid.
Sold out percentage, Detroit's creeping
How
up
is
there.
Chicago still not sold out? I don't understand.
Yeah.
What's this last 2%? What's this holdout? It's been 2% for weeks.
Yes, it's been 2% for weeks, and the number of available properties they're minting about 200 properties a week or so. But yeah, there's a bunch of big properties, and I didn't look at the floor of the unminted, so I don't have the best answer for you on that one. But
gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, if people are looking for a tier 1 city, if you want a manufacturing plant in a tier 1 city, that might be a place to look then. 5,700 properties still in gems. You heard it from the land hoarder himself.
But he's not buying any more land right now. But and Abdullah did overtake him. So
the way that I was corrected by my girl. His name, the way that you actually pronounce his name is Abdullah, by the way. Just
Abdullah. Okay, sorry, Abdullah.
Although I kind of like just calling him Big A. I feel like if we like people just know, we'll be like, oh, it's Big A.
Yeah, I like Big A too. Now, does Abdullah like Big A?
Abdullah, let us know. Is Big A cool? Yeah. Thumbs up or not?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let us know.
Yeah. So last week, 12,347. It's way down from last week, but last week you had Rio, so that really doesn't count. Next week, you're definitely going to see the spike because we'll talk about the Rio FSA coming up here shortly.
That's only 5,000 properties, though. Shouldn't be that big.
Well, you'll see a spike. I'd expect to see right around 15 to 17,000 properties that next week. But this is where your unminted properties lie. And when you still have those huge values on the secondary market, it's hard to mint brand new. All right. The Upland economy update. And this is going to be a long episode today.
Nah, we'll go through it quick.
Yeah. So they do have changes coming to the Upland economy. And a lot of people
don't know what they're talking about, is what it is.
Yes. Yeah. It's really not that bad, because if you look at what it was in the original white papers and been around, and they're letting us have a say. They're going to let us vote on this.
Well, no. I mean,
yes, new way or old way.
Well, no. So, but the vote isn't like if we say no, then they don't do it, right? Like if you read it, it's just an opinion poll. It's not definitive. It's so that it's a market research, right? Like,
right.
It's not an actual vote. If we're like, no, we don't want to do it, they'll be like, okay, kids, that's nice. We're still doing it, but thank you for telling us, right? I'm not saying that's a bad thing either. I just want to make sure like people know, like, it's starting that conversation. It's a step in the right direction, but like I just want to make sure it's not an actual vote this time. Just saying.
I don't see it in the article, and I just pulled that back up, and I don't see where they said they're not taking what the vote is.
Maybe I made that up, but
because
I felt like that.
They said that to be fully transparent, the governance proposal will list 2 UPX funding options for players to vote on. 1, where you adopt a new funding method, or 2, to keep the literal methodology listed in the white paper until a different methodology is enacted. So the community ballot does not cover funding formulas or other details regarding it, just the funding method. And they said it's a major step in Upland's vision of decentralized economy, and we're excited to be bringing the community closer to direct involvement. So I guess you can look into closer indirect involvement, that if we don't like your answer, we're going to go the other way. But I don't think they'd put it out there for the community to vote on if they weren't going to take that as an input.
I guess it just seems, well, okay, that's right. Maybe it's like the what's that? The stupid thing we have in America, the Electoral College. So I guess maybe it's like that, right? Like we get to vote.
That is not a stupid thing, and that's a whole nother discussion.
Stupid thing we have called the Electoral College.
Yeah. Don't even make me go down that rabbit hole. So when Upland was created, they had 100 billion UPX in mind, and 50 billion was going to the UPX pool itself. So monthly minting per active user into the UPX pool, and that goes out for players for selling fiat crypto to Upland, so they get their in-game currency. And the other $50 billion went to the community pool. So what went into the community pool, as you can see, is when you mint a brand new property, any marketplace transaction fees, any other fees that they can think of. And then they had this design where it was 160 UPX per active user each month when they would activate it. So they put 160 UPX in per active user each month to continue building the community pool. Also, it was going to go into the Upland pool itself. And what they pay out with this is our property earnings, our collections, our one-time rewards, and any other marketing campaigns. And here's the interesting thing. So yes, this is from the white paper in 2019. We already know the yearly earnings have been reduced to 14.7%. So nobody has to point out that we have it wrong. This is actually from the white paper, and there has been a reduction right now. But that was the interesting thing, is the 6th and 7th thing down is there for the initial value. They were going to start putting 160 UPX minted monthly into each additional pool based off of active users. A lot of people didn't understand it. They thought that Upland was running out of UPX, or that Upland was what they were really going to do. And also what Upland said in their white paper is there is not a fixed total of UPX token supply, and they will carefully observe the developments of the economy and growth and stability before considering a potential cap. So there is still always a potential cap out there, but also what they're saying is the Upland pool is kind of drying up, and they're looking for ways to find it. And they're thinking that, hey, just putting in more UPX is not the right way to do it. And they've come up with a couple of different funding models per se. What did you think about the funding models they proposed?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, it took some layman's terms to kind of explain it. And I would say that I don't know. I think that we probably need to almost have like an economist talk about it more, because I'll be honest, it doesn't entirely make sense to me, how the like, and somebody walked through it with, everything that goes in to the Upland pool versus a community pool, and Upland gets paid essentially on new mints. So like that's primarily where the Upland pool gets done. And it didn't all make a ton of sense to me actually afterwards, after I started thinking about it, like, okay, what does this actually mean? But I do think it enables Upland to potentially start stepping away from running those pools. And then they would essentially they would put themselves in a profit share with Upland through, like, Upland would obviously fund it. So us, the gamers, as we're playing and as we're doing our transactions, would fund the maintenance of Upland, but then the bank of Upland could then be decentralized even further or handed off to a third party, or as they start to do, say, franchising, where, you know, maybe clubs, football clubs, soccer clubs come in and release their own cities, and then they get a cut of the minting price. So that is going to cut into Upland's profits. So they have to figure out ways to supplement that. I don't know. I think there's a lot of things. Let's see.
Now, what you did say, you said when Upland's pool gets the money, they just had a fixed account. There's nothing going into the Upland pool itself. When you mint a new property, that goes into the community pool, and the Upland pool was the 50 million UPX or 50 billion UPX that goes out when people buy the UPX. So there's nothing really coming into it, and they're looking for a method to do that, but not flood the community at the same time with UPX.
Yeah. See, I'll be honest, I don't really get all of the nuances there. I trust Dirk and the team to know what they are doing. I'm not an economics major, so I will follow and listen to the community in general. But my default position is, if Dirk says it's good for the economy, this is his baby. Like, this is Upland's baby. They're not going to do something that would be detrimental to the economy. Now, that doesn't mean that it might be not something that the players want, because sometimes those two things are at odds. But I will almost always side with, on economic pieces, with Dirk and the team.
Yeah.
So Goldsmith gave us Upland's language, and so this is the voting system serves as a temperature check to gauge the Upland community sentiment. So, yeah.
And here's the thing, I'm not an economist either, but they said, hey, 88% of the 100 billion UPX in circulation is in the community pool. And they said that the percentage in relation to what is in circulation does not warrant monetary expansion. They already have monetary expansion built in, but they already recognize what they built in is still not the proper move right now. So they're looking how to keep it stable. So it's just not, because if I was running, I'm like, oh, this pool's running out, let's just implement that and start putting all this UPX in each month like we said we were going to do. So they looked at it over the last 18 months. They've made evaluations of it. And there is some interesting language in this article itself. They said, even more exciting, this path provides the foundation for the economic loops needed if Upland is to shift to a more decentralized platform. And we've been hearing that from a lot of the OGs that were heavy into crypto when they started. It was all about the private keys and decentralized, and Upland's not really decentralized, yada, yada, yada. So, or do you think this is just another teaser statement out there?
Like, I think it just, like, I don't know. I know we have a lot of crypto fans. It doesn't make a difference to me. Like, decentralized, I don't ever want my private keys. I'm completely okay with it being controlled by a central entity. I think, that's, especially from a gaming perspective, I don't trust the general market. I don't trust humanity as a whole to run anything successfully, because I think it'll be a hot mess. So I'd rather have a couple people that I know and trust running it, and then if they turn out to, like, that I can't trust with those two people, I find something else, a different project. But I feel like a core like vision and team that's driving towards an outcome is better to me than I don't know. Have you ever watched Twitch plays, like Twitch plays Pokemon, where the community plays a game instead of a gamer playing the game, and it's madness and it's insanity? That's what I think of when everyone's like, "Oh, decentralization." I'm like, insanity.
Yeah, because still with democracy, you can still have the majority of people be evil and do their own bidding. But, and I do find it intriguing too, because they are letting the community have a say in why they call it a course correction for materials outlined in the white paper. And then they also state the nature of the voting system may become more self-governing in the future. There's a lot of foreshadowing in this of more decentralized, more player governance, more changing of stuff, but still ultimately with the economy in mind as the most important part of it.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think that they are moving towards that governance model. I think there's a lot of excitement and eagerness towards getting some of those more community-driven aspects for sure.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I love Ghostbusters. Love Ghostbusters. Thanks, more cheese. Yeah. So anything else you want to talk about on the economy there, on the changes being made? They have some formulas out there and they're looking for our insight. And as you say, I'm not from the economic stuff. Hopefully it's not a majority rules, and hopefully it's not the vote of the community gets it, because the majority of the community do not have economics degrees or study economics at all. And it's the basis of the whole part of the game system here. So like you screw that up and you crash the game.
yeah, and I mean, I trust Upland enough that they're doing, I don't want to say low stakes because it's obviously a big mechanic, but I would trust that if Upland is really putting it to the community, that really either outcome is acceptable. NFT is the only today because of decentralization. We need it. Yeah, no. Don't get me wrong. Well, I think it's more true ownership. My argument would be I think the value of NFTs is true ownership as opposed to decentralization. I mean, decentralization gives us the security aspect that, from like hacking stuff like that, I guess, and the redundancy, but it's really the true ownership. And maybe again, I'm not a crypto expert, so if somebody's like decentralization and true ownership go hand in hand, I suppose. But for me, true ownership just means that I can track it on the blockchain. So I can see when it was minted, I can verify that it was mint number 1, and I can view the entire life cycle of who it was, and I can digitally validate that this is the item that it is. To me, that digital tracking and that true ownership is what's important. And I don't even need to own the wallet. Like, it can be central, but like that tracking of authenticity, I think, is what separates the NFT market from other digital, just digital items.
Yeah. And if there was slot machines that took UPX in Vegas, I'm just sad that I really missed that.
What? There was?
No, there wasn't. Outlaw said too much of the pool was invested in the slots during Genesis week.
Gotcha.
There's my boy Mix. Facts.
Yeah.
I have the apartment building where everything goes down, overlooking Central Park. So absolutely.
Nice. DAOs have to be run by people who know how to run business. I hope Upland does not turn into a DAO. Yeah, no, I hate DAO. I shouldn't say that. I don't hate DAOs. I think that they serve a purpose, but for a large, enterprise metaverse, I don't think DAO is the right way for that. A lot of my growth is because Upland players are bad at understanding economics. Great, Jinx, I like that.
Yeah. Not crypto X. there's things that we like about crypto and things we dislike, but that's with anything. And that's why we have friends like you, TM and Dizzy, so you can tell us the.
Yeah, I think DAOs sounded better in somebody's head than ever have actually gone into practice. Like, it's kind of the old saying, it's the old adage, a camel is a horse designed by committee. I feel like that happens a lot in these projects.
Yeah. Sorry, more cheese. Right. Oh. All right. Rio de Janeiro, new starter neighborhood and FSA changes coming. With that, I mean, if you're watching this later and not watching it live, Friday, August 5th, which is tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific time, which is 11 Eastern, 10, or no, they're ahead of us. So 12 Brazilian. 5,000 properties are being released. Property pricing is about 2,500 UPX. The interesting thing here is they said that there are properties, smaller properties that are under 1,000 UPX, but they're just going to make it 1,000 UPX anyway. And this is the first time they've really invented minimum pricing for the game. And they said this is going to go forward. What do you think about that? Because, you know, you could scoop up some properties for, you know, a couple hundred UPX.
Yeah, it makes sense.
You like the minimum price locked at 1,000 UPX?
Yeah, it keeps it easy. Yeah, because I mean, like those super cheap properties, it's just silly. Like, and especially because I have to assume that reflects like the interest and everything. So yeah, I think it makes sense.
Okay. And then there are some properties in this neighborhood that are too large to meet or too big to meet the FSA requirements, whatever the requirements are for dubbing a property that way. So those properties will be hidden on the release and they will be launched later. And with that, you have the new FSA rules along with it. 2 rules that will be put in effect, and these are testing rules, so they don't say these are permanent, so they could change. You'll be able to mint a total of 30 FSA properties over the lifetime of their account, and players can mint a maximum of 3 FSA properties per day. I mean that. How's that make you feel that now you can only mint 3 FSA? I know you're not an FSA person, but for how FSA users have been, they can only do 3 FSAs. Would this increase the amount of multi-accounts out there, or will this actually help curb them?
I think it will likely increase the amount of multi-accounting attempts for sure. I mean, I don't see how that wouldn't, but by the same token, I mean, it's a real pain to kind of do. I don't know, because I guess there's some people that are pretty good at multi-accounting, but I feel like as Upland gets better about identifying multi-accounters and identifying that kind of stuff, they'll start cracking down on that. I like the idea. 3 FSAs a day. It's kind of interesting. You really shouldn't, if you're an FSA buyer, you shouldn't be probably buying more than that anyway. You can't sell more than that, and you can always buy normal properties, right? So here's the other thing: is like, you know, the FSA are 1 to 5,000, right? If you are really just a new player, you can dabble and buy yourself a couple FSA properties, but then there's no reason that you can't participate in the rest of the market that's not FSA. As once you're not a visitor, you can buy secondary properties, etc. So there's no reason that this should slow down a normal player, except it will slow down FSA farmers and stuff like that. But we'll see.
And
yeah,
there are a lot of FSA farms out there. Yeah, and we'll see how it plays on it. Now, the rules are not retroactive, so you're 30. So if you're an FSA player, your 30 starts tomorrow. It's not going to go back. It's not going to count it. and they will display in the pop-up when you're minting an FSA property what your count is.
Yeah. Oh no, there was seriously FSA agents. So like the way that people would do it to keep an FSA account is like, if you, let's say that there was 5,000 UPX FSA properties, right? You could have an FSA buyer go buy them, and then you buy it from them for 1,000, but then you add like 10,000 to their ledger, and so then you could keep track, like on a side thing, of like how much they earn, and so you'd have an FSA agent who could do their 2 properties a week indefinitely, because then you could just always keep them under the threshold, and then you just have an offline balance, and then you transfer over. So like that 30 cap is obviously going to put that to a kibosh.
Yeah. And of course, these rules aren't final. They can change them or modify them at any time. Also, the Rio collections were revealed. Are you excited about collection reveals anymore?
I should be. I haven't particularly been. I feel like that's a new player's game, like the city releases and doing the research and finding all the flights and doing all that. That's a young kid's game. I can't keep up with it.
So you're happy with your monthly earnings and don't need to go hunt those exclusives or rare collections or hope you score ultra rare.
I mean, I should, and I mean, I can take the altruistic side and just be like, oh well, I want other people to have the amazing experiences I had, but the reality is I just have too much going on. But it is cool.
I wouldn't let you get away with I want other people to have that experience, because city releases are way different from when you started.
Yeah, no, they really are. Yeah.
No. So
hold on.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. What am I? What am I?
You are a shill for Upland?
2 cups, 1 turtle, huh?
Oh, 2 cups, 1 turtle.
2 cups, 1 turtle.
And you got a poo with you.
I can't. Nope. Nope.
You can't?
Nope.
Won't touch that.
Nope. Moving on.
Hey, you started it. You thought you were going to be funny, and I had to bring the show down.
You ruined it. You always take it too far.
That's what I'm good at. That is definitely what I'm good at. All right. What else you got? You got UPX World update for us?
Yeah. So if you are not yet part of UPX World, you definitely want to be. You can check out upx.world. You can go to our Discord, discord.gg/UPX World. We stream 6 days a week. So essentially every day except for today, Thursday, we have a Twitch stream for UPX World. So you definitely want to check it out. We are full force. There is a lot of really cool stuff going on. It is a layer 2 gaming platform that is really going to be community driven, both in content and story. That's going to allow players to add gamification and utility to their layer 1 assets. Specifically, Upland is going to be the primary metaverse that we are partnering with. And so there is, oh my gosh, there is some amazingly talented artists and creators in this community. And I am so grateful that many of them have already showed up. If you know any kind of artist, and we're talking visual, audio, 3D, Unity developers, Blender creators, anything like that, get them connected. We have a bounty and a contract system up. So bounties will offer smaller rewards, between $10, $20, $50, $100, and then contracts range into the thousands. So We've had, I think, one contract which we're probably going to be finalizing. So contracts are like you have to apply and do it because it's bigger. So like the one that we're closing probably in the next 36 hours will be $7,000 for an alpha game prototype that we're looking at. And then, yeah, we're hoping to have a couple games out by the end of the year, with the first prototypes rolling out mid-September-ish. Don't hold my feet to the fire totally on that, but that's what we're working towards. So.
No, that's awesome. So definitely excited for that. Everybody definitely check that out. And I got nothing else for the week. Anything else before we get out of here?
Oh, Bones Balboa. Phase 2 is still going on, but it's actually fully funded. So I might close out phase 2 and move on to phase 3. Phase 3 is, hold on, they just sent me the quote. It's 31 apartments. So it's going to be the crown, the crown of Bones Balboa, which is phase 3. They are going to be very, very expensive, but those will be for sale. And I have some other phase 2 stuff. If there's other pieces that you want of Bones Balboa, message me and we'll figure something out. But yeah, look for phase 3, but they're going to be probably in the 500,000 range for an apartment in the crown, just so people know. But yeah, there's going to be a handful of those for sale coming up shortly. It's coming along really cool. If you haven't checked it out, it's in the top corner of Balboa Lake in LA. We're definitely going to be doing some fun layer 2 stuff with it, really bringing that character to life in a way that just, it really is going to highlight the kind of the harmony between layer 1 Upland and layer 2 UPX World, and where we're able to kind of take something and elevate it to an amazing new level. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. So, and there also might be some secret value plays that I haven't even released to the buyers. For those of you who are following along with what's happening in UPX World, you know that I'm a huge proponent of, as much as I say, decentralization of assets is whatever. For me, decentralization of revenue is really what's important to me in Web3. And that's the primary focus of UPX World, is how do we take your layer 1 assets and not just add value to them, but allow you to generate passive revenue, and not just with some blind staking tokenomics pyramid scheme, but with actual interoperability with the community and true shared revenue and decentralized revenue. So there might be some hidden value opportunities inside of Bones Balboa that I'm not yet ready to release, but if you got in early, you're probably going to be very happy. So
I love it. You always love teasing our community right before we get out of here each week. So some exciting things to look forward to.
Tickle, tickle, tickle.
Tickle, tickle, tickle. Everybody be safe. Have fun. Oh, and the 25th, Mars Utah will be in. The 28th, podcast song has been 2 years old. He's going to perform the original podcast theme song live, and he's got a new one he's working on right now that I'm very excited for. So that's going to be awesome. You'll definitely want to see the show on the 25th. Thanks to TjMiamiBoi and everything they have going on in their community out there in Detroit. Definitely check them out. And until next week, everybody be safe, have fun, and we'll see you in the metaverse.
It's the UPX Podcast, baby. Glad you tuned in. Got your host, ThankMeLater, and you're stupid to win. Might be coming up session as soon as you begin. Start out king of the street, then lock in iconic in. Welcome to Upland. Grab your UPX, man. On your way, and the door hit you with $4,000. Get to buying and gripping, then to selling and flipping. Over to moving and shucking. I'm Scrooge McDuckin' in UPX.